Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What an amazing episode. I was like, but before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest by Yanlış and Cansu couple made episodes, say what I liked, what I didn't like, what might happen next, what I noticed. If you like these kinds of videos, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to be notified, and we will meet on a weekly basis. But before I get into the Eski and Osgook storyline, let's talk about the other ones a little bit. So let's start with Cansu and Levent. So Levent is still trying to see what happened to Cansu. Why is she acting that differently? Because back in the day she was always there. Whenever he did this, she was there by his side, and now she has plans without him. So he's really trying to, he's kind of a detective, trying to get information out of her, not being that obvious that he's jealous. So Cansu tells him that she will meet the girls at the fitness studio, and he's like, oh, I'm so bored of yoga and Pilates, I will join you. So Cansu is really shocked because it was a lie, so she didn't want to go. But now she had to call Eski and Deniz to meet her there, so Levent wouldn't pick up on this whole lie thing. While Eski gets the call, Ozan is near her, so he hears that Deniz is also going there. He also hears which fitness center. So later he goes to Osgook and tries to convince him to go to this fitness center. And when they arrive, Osgook sees Deniz and is like, now I know why you wanted to come here. And the gang is reunited, and this whole fitness studio scene was amazing. I laughed so much. But anyways, getting back to Levent and Cansu. When Levent is at the fitness studio, he actually forgets his credit card, so they call him to pick it up. What's bad is that he was actually on his way to a father-daughter day, but he has to go pick up his card. He sees Cansu with the swimming instructor, gets really jealous and injures himself, but his reaction was so funny. It was hilarious. Oh no, before that, when they were at the fitness studio where the gang was reunited, Levent was so out of place there. So when Osgook was doing pull-ups and push-ups and all this jazz, Levent was just sitting there, just enjoying life, talking to Osgook. It was so amazing. And then when the rest of the gang was talking to each other, talking about this whole Tango thing, Levent was so bored that he was doing a couple of exercises on this yoga ball, whatever it's called, but he gets so bored that he starts to scream and then says that he injured himself. So Cansu has to go home with him. She gives him a painkiller, but then he's like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. So she kind of sees through his game that he actually wanted to be alone with her. After he gets really jealous with that swimming instructor, he gets injured because he slips, because he goes fully clothed with leather shoes inside the pool, so that's why he slips, injures himself, comes home with Cansu. Cansu takes care of him because she feels really bad, because he also plays the victim very well, and says that he actually wanted to tell Zainab about their relationship and he had everything prepared, blah blah blah. So he was really making Cansu feel bad for this whole situation for him, because she was the reason why he's injured. So she takes care of him, and suddenly there's somebody at the door. Cansu goes, opens the door. Who stands there? Zainab. Looks her up and down, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so awkward. Even Levent panics a little bit. We don't see what happens next, but I think that he will find another excuse because he's injured. He can say that Cansu is just like a nurse, somebody who's helping him around the house. Then we also have this whole Ozan and Deniz storyline going on, and my oh my, what a bomb has dropped. I mean, it was amazing. So Deniz actually needs a signature from Ozan, and Irem is like, well, I will go there for lunch because I have a meeting. I'm meeting a friend or something like that. I will take it, because Deniz actually wanted to mail it to him so he can sign it, but Irem is like, no, I will take it, I don't mind, blah blah blah. So she's actually meeting with Yeşim there. Yeşim is like the worst. Anyways, them two together are not a good combination, because when they're eating, they're actually talking about Özgür and Ozan, and actually Yeşim saying that Serdar is liking, or yeah, has a crush on Ezgi, and she doesn't understand how he can like Ezgi or somebody like Ezgi, because normally it's not his type, blah blah blah. I just switched off. I can't listen to them because it's just ridiculous what they're talking about. Anyways, Ozan is very sad that Deniz didn't come and bring him the documents. Then he hears Ezgi talking to Cansu. Like I said, the gang meets. Ozan is trying to do some sports, but he's actually just there to look at Deniz and trying to build up courage to talk to her. It was really funny when he went next to her on the treadmill, I believe it's called, and she actually has an earpiece in so she can't hear him, and Özgür sees it, tries to sign to him, just don't talk anymore, but Ozan is laying it out there, just telling what he feels and stuff like that. It was so amazing. And then Özgür actually tells him, well, she can't hear you, don't you see? And Ozan is so sad. Then after that, I believe there's this workshop, like this cooking workshop Ozan has prepared, and Ezgi invites Deniz as well. And at first Ozan is like, well, come Ezgi, we're starting, but then she says, well, Deniz is coming as well, but she's a little bit late, and Ozan is like, okay, we can wait. So they're having this cooking workshop, and I mean, come on, let's be honest, how stupid is Yeşim? Can you help me? I was like, woman, why are you this stupid? So desperate, really. And Ezgi is also tying her apron, and Özgür is like, do you need some help? I can help you. And she's like, no, I can do it on my own. And I was like, yes girl, show him that you're not incapable. Ozan is trying to be near Deniz, complimenting her cooking, liking what she did, like the taco that she did, helping her with cutting, and İrem constantly looking at them, trying to get Ozan away from Deniz. During that workshop, İrem actually tells Ozan that she has a pepper allergy or a chili allergy, and then when they try the shots Emre made, he also put some pepper in, and İrem has an allergic reaction, and it was so amazing. I was like, yes, finally justice has been done. So Yeşim and İrem go to the hospital. Oh, at the fitness center, actually an old friend of Deniz comes, and his name is Erdem, I believe. Ozan gets a little bit jealous. Deniz actually invites him also to that party. Özgür and Ozan are watching this whole interaction between Ezgi, Deniz and Erdem. They go there, question Erdem, what is up with him, how they know each other, blah blah blah. Ezgi says that Erdem says that they know each other since high school, and then he brings up this team like blue something, and apparently Erdem and Deniz were also in this team, and Ozan is like, do you mean blue something something? Because I was also there in this team, I was number 8. And Deniz is like, what? Really confused. Erdem is like, what do you mean number 8? Because number 8's name was Mehmet, and Deniz actually had a crush on Mehmet. And then Ozan is like, well, Mehmet is me, I'm called Mehmet Ozan Dinçer. And I was like, what is happening? I was like, oh my god, are you serious? So it turns out that Deniz actually saved Ozan's life because he was choking or something, and they're like, well, you changed a lot but your eyes stayed the same, and it was so adorable. And then Ozan says, well, no wonder I was attracted to you, because we know each other from way back in the day. This cracked Deniz for sure. I mean, this was the last step they needed to take for Deniz to kind of open up to Ozan. So during the party, they kept looking at each other, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing. I'm so shipping them too. Is there anything else? No. So we can move on to Eski and Osgook storyline. So we start where we left off. Eski sees Yeşim and Osgook kissing. She gets really upset, runs away. Tesla comes to the rescue. I think I predicted it in my last Yanlış video. I said that Tesla might break the kiss off. Tesla actually runs towards Eski. He kind of senses her. Özgür pulls away. Yeşim is really angry, and she's like, well, I think I should go because it seems like you're not in the mood. I was like, nobody is ever in the mood for you, Yeşim, especially not Özgür because his mind is still with Ezgi. She goes away. She wants to have a goodbye kiss, but he actually turns his cheeks towards her so she can't get a full-on kiss. She's really angry because the next day she wants to talk to her brother and is like, well, how can you say that he's in love with me because I felt so humiliated. He was so distant, so cold with me, blah blah blah blah blah. Who told you this BS? And then he says, well, Levent. And then she's like, he lied to you because there's obviously something between Eski and Osgook, blah blah blah. I think this conversation made Serdar switch, and at first, like I said in my last video, he's naive, he's just in this game somehow, but he's not a bad person. But in this episode he turned creep mode on. Anyways, Özgür is looking if Ezgi is already at home. He sees light, but Cansu came in the meantime. Ezgi is really upset, even throws the flower away, so I really do hope that she picks the flower back up, puts it back in the box, because it's quite a huge box, and I really do hope that she will fill it with a lot of stuff from Özgür. But anyways, Cansu goes out. Özgür sees Cansu and he's like, okay, the lights are on because of Cansu, so that means that Ezgi is still away with Serdar, and that's why Tesla ran towards Cansu's apartment, because Cansu was at home. He starts drinking, he turns up the music quite loudly. On the other side, Ezgi thinks that he's having an amazing time with Yeşim, and that's why the music is on. Basically, both of them have the wrong idea of what the other person's night is. The next day, Tesla runs to Ezgi. Ezgi, of course, talks to Tesla because Tesla feels who belongs to Özgür. I mean, he was very cold towards Yeşim, but he is constantly running towards Ezgi. Özgür comes, talks with Ezgi, how was last night, and she's like exaggerating, saying, oh my god, Serdar was so nice and he's such a nice person, you would liked him, blah blah blah blah blah blah. Özgür doesn't like the way this whole date sounds. So Ezgi is like, well, why did you call me? And then he's really reaching for answers, trying to find reasons why he actually called her during the date. Then I think Ezgi asks him how was his night, and then he tells her about the fact that Tesla came back and Yeşim was also there, blah blah blah, so she gets really frustrated. And then Özgür actually proposes that they should, oh no, before that Ezgi asks if he told Yeşim about their relationship, and he's like, tell her about what? And then she says about our coaching relationship, and he's like, no, I didn't. He then says that there is no need for coaching anymore. She got her date with Serdar, so he thinks that it's enough. She can do it on her own. And then Ezgi gets kind of frustrated and goes inside, and the fact that Özgür actually tells Tesla that he shouldn't go to Ezgi anymore was so hilarious. Anyways, they go to work, they meet at the elevator by chance, go ride the elevator at the same time, and Özgür actually asks if Ezgi wants to drive with him to work, but she's like, no, I can have a taxi, I don't need you, blah blah blah, very cold towards him. And then I'm like, oh my god, look at that elevator, how convenient. Suddenly it got bigger because suddenly Özgür has enough space to stand next to Ezgi and even have space between them. And I'm like, seriously? And then Ezgi does this thing with her hair, and because he gets so affected by this scent, he moves away, has a face as if saying, oh my god, you stink, oh, I can vomit. I was like, seriously Özgür, you're being really mean right now. So they get to the restaurant, people start to decorate. Gizem is so fake because before Ezgi appears, she tells Emre, oh my god, this party is, I don't like it. And then as soon as Ezgi appears with Özgür, she's like, oh my god, I love it, this is so amazing, blah blah blah. But can we talk about Gizem's hair during the party? It looked horrible for me. I mean, it looked as if some animal licked over her face and her hair just stuck to her head. It was just horrible. I didn't like it at all. I also didn't like the headband Ezgi had on with those dangly bits. I mean, what was that? It looked weird. I didn't like it. It was just like, why? Thank God she put it off when she was dancing with Özgür. But anyways, they're trying to prepare for this whole party. That's when İrem and Yeşim appear. Yeşim actually invites herself because İrem says something about this cooking workshop, and Yeşim is like, well, should I come as well? And if you ask that way, of course the person like Özgür is saying, of course, come as well, we have enough space. So I'm like, woman, nobody needs you. And as soon as I saw them two walking in, I was like, why? Nobody needs you. Gizem is enough at the moment. I don't need all three of you in the same frame. That's when Ezgi actually says that she will invite Serdar to the party to get Özgür jealous, because he got her jealous with Yeşim being at the workshop. So they tried the food Ozan prepared, also the drinks that Emre prepared. Ezgi gets a message, we don't really know from who, but she starts laughing or smiling to her phone. Özgür is constantly looking at her, and when she's looking, he's looking away, and I thought it was so adorable because you can really see that he has feelings for her, but he's not really admitting them. I think then we have this whole fitness center thing. Even there, Özgür is trying to be near Ezgi, so he helps her with this machine, whatever, gives her tips how to push, how many reps to do, blah blah blah. But he couldn't really focus that much on Ezgi because Ozan kept wandering off towards Deniz like a little toddler, and Özgür kept running after him. It was just amazing. Oh, what I forgot, Serdar actually calls Ezgi while she's on that machine. She invites him to that party. He mentions he knows tango. She says, oh, I know it as well, or something like that, and he's really impressed by that. But her problem is she doesn't know how to dance. Now she goes to Cansu and Deniz trying to find a solution. How can she learn tango within 4 days? Ozan wants to try to talk to Deniz. Deniz asks if he knows how to dance tango. He says yes, but says that Özgür knows it even better. Ezgi's ears transform to Dumbo ears, and she's trying to convince Özgür to teach her. He's like, no, I don't know, no, blah blah blah. Then there's this rope jump scene where he's doing this exercise and she's trying to convince him to teach her. So she's like, well, I always wanted to learn tango, blah blah blah, and you know it that well. So he's kind of like, okay, I can teach you. But then she says, okay, you can teach me in 4 days. And then it clicks for him, and then he's like, well, why 4 days? He questions her, and then she cracks, and then she admits that she lied to Serdar that she knows tango, and that's why she needs to know it within 4 days. He's like, okay, I'm not doing it, I don't want to, and then jumps away. And it was so hilarious, her running after him and him just jumping away. So then that evening, Ezgi tries to find a teacher. She can't find anyone. She tries to learn it herself via video. Özgür actually watches her. Then she tries to do the victim number, tries to cry in front of him, make him feel bad, and then she goes away and says, okay, in 5 seconds he will come, but he doesn't appear. So she goes after him, but he's actually hiding and scaring her. I laughed so much at that scene. Anyways, Deniz calls, tells her she found a teacher. Özgür gets so jealous and is like, why didn't you ask me? You know I can dance, blah blah blah. It was just a joke. Why didn't you come to me? It was just amazing how quick Özgür got jealous. So then we have this amazing dancing lessons. I love them so much. And then him explaining this whole history behind tango, the different versions, what they mean, and then being close together, and him being barefoot. I loved it so much. Then we see Fitnat and Sevim trying to come up with a plan to break Ezgi and Özgür up. Sevim says, well, he has a good heart. So the girl they want to matchmake him with, they say that she needs a job. So they propose to Özgür for him to help this girl, give her a job because he knows so many people. And he refuses and says that Ezgi is really jealous, so he doesn't want to disrupt his peace. And Sevim and Fitnat are so desperate for them, like for Ezgi and Özgür to break up, that they decide to go to Istanbul and not leave until Ezgi and Özgür are not together anymore. And the same goes for Nevin, because she kind of finds out that Ezgi is still together with Özgür and that Ezgi doesn't want to break up with Özgür. So she's like, okay, like she's only telling it to Ünal. She says that she will go to Istanbul and get her daughter to break up with Özgür because he's not a good influence on her, he's not nice, blah blah blah, and she knows her daughter because she doesn't want to hurt the other person. Then we have another elevator scene, but this time Osgook is really close to Eski and they talk about this whole problem they have with their mothers. So Osgook is like, well, they want to matchmake me again, they want to set me up with this girl and I don't want to, blah blah blah. And Eski says, okay, we can keep this relationship between us, like this fake relationship, going till they stop doing it. And he's like, well, I don't want to create a problem for you. And he's like, no no no. And I have to say that this look really reminded me of the Dolunay look she had in the first episode when they danced together, because she also had this headband on. Anyways, in that scene he suddenly forgot what it meant to have personal space once again. Is there anything else? I think then the whole party thing is like, actually there's this workshop which I already talked about, and then this whole party starts. Osgook is really close to Eski. Gizem sees it. Because she's so jealous of their closeness, she calls Soner and tells him that Eski couldn't stop talking about him and that he should come to this party because Eski would love it. I think it was before that Soner calls Eski, tells her that he can't come because there's a woman in labor, and Deniz is like, oh my god, again, you can't meet again. And she's like, we met last week. But Osgook picked it up, so now he knows that Eski wasn't on a date with Serdar that night, so she lied to him to make him jealous kind of, and he's like, I see what you're doing. Anyways, the party starts, the tango music appears. Eski tells Osgook that it's their song, so Osgook invites her to dance and they dance. It was amazing. Soner comes, sees them together, gets really angry with Gizem why she wanted him to be there just to watch them dance, blah blah blah. So he's really riled up. After the dance, Gizem goes to Eski, tells her that there's somebody who's looking for her. She goes out, sees Soner. Soner apologizes. She says it's way too late. He doesn't want to let her go, so he grabs her and wants to talk to her. She doesn't want to go with him. Emre actually tells Osgook that Eski is outside. That's when Osgook comes, gets really angry, sees how Soner behaves with Eski, and that's when he punches Soner. And I was like, thank God, please let it happen as well with Serdar. That would be amazing. Anyways, because Eski is quite emotional at that time, he calls for his car and they drive home. Right when they drive away, the siblings, the evil siblings, appear. They ask Ozan and Deniz where Eski and Osgook are. They don't know it because they don't know what happened outside. Emre actually informs Ozan what happened outside and that Eski and Osgook drove away. Osgook actually forgot his phone at the restaurant, so Ozan goes back, tells Serdar and Yeşim and Deniz what happened and that Osgook and Eski went away together. Serdar has this look of jealousy, kind of hatred, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you behaving like this? So then we see Eski and Osgook on the terrace. Osgook once again taking care of Eski and them talking about what happened, and her telling him that she's happy that they met each other, because without Soner breaking up with her, she wouldn't have met him. And he says he's also happy that that guy broke up with her or cheated on her. And she says, well, thank you for helping me getting through that phase and stuff like that, like really nice words. And then telling him that she's so happy that he's in her life, and he says it's the same for you. And then they get closer and closer, and I'm like, God, are we getting a kiss? But no, somebody knocks on the door and I was like, please don't let it be Yeşim. And who's at the door? Yeşim. I'm like, why? She sees Eski in Özgür's apartment, and then we hear Serdar, is Eski there? And I'm like, and that's the end. And I'm like, really I have to wait. So we get a trailer where we see an alarm going off, Özgür telling Eski that if something happens she should call him, and then Serdar being like, what a nice and considerate boss you are, and he says, I'm not just a boss. And Yeşim is looking at them really scared. And then we see Nevim asking Eski if she's fallen in love with Özgür. What else do we see? Oh yeah, Yeşim closing the door on Eski, so it seems like Eski is going away with Soner and Yeşim is staying with Özgür in his apartment. So what I think will happen, maybe Özgür will tell Yeşim that there's nothing between them and he doesn't like her, like Yeşim. Oh, after he says I'm not just her boss, maybe to save the moment he won't say that I like her, he will say that he's also her neighbor and her friend. Oh, we also get to see Ozan telling Özgür that he should take action in regards to Ezgi, because otherwise he will regret not taking action and talking about his feelings. But then Özgür says that he wants to see how Ezgi feels towards him in order for him to take action. So yeah, it's really interesting to see what will happen. I really do hope we will get a new lesson from Master Özgür because of relationship stuff. Oh my god, my battery is flashing. I talked way too much already. Yeah, is there anything else? So I'm really excited for Ozan and Deniz to see how their relationship evolves. I'm really interested to see how this whole mothers being in Istanbul will play out. Of course, they will keep them separated like Özgür and Ezgi. Maybe that's why they're running away. So I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I'm sorry. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this amazing episode, what you think might happen next. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!